This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Challenge Lock Workshop. Today we have our first episode of a Challenge Lock announcement video. Today's featured Challenge Lock is a Challenge Lock set made by Knox Locks called Alice in Wonderland. Say hi, Knox.
What's happening, guys?
So you created this as two different sets. You want to talk about that a little bit? What you had in mind?
Sure. Okay. So, the inspirations for these, the one is down the rabbit hole, and then the other one's through the looking glass. They come from two actual inspirations. So, one, the locks come from Lock Noob. I saw he has a 45-minute video where he takes a Euro cylinder and makes it into a cutaway, and that kind of inspired me to. I was bored with the Sparrows progressives and kind of done with them, so I was trying to think of how else could I breathe new life into them, and I ended up making a couple short videos of the chopped and screwed. So I literally file them down or chop them down, and then I grub screw them so they could one by one. The chambers can be placed or emptied to your picking standard. So that was the physical, the lock aspect of it, and even the pins inside of them. For the red queen that you'll see later, that's Lock Noob's check pins that are in there. But as far as the creative part, my girlfriend's a big fan of Alice in Wonderland, and we were just discussing it, and really it just came together, the two, and it just merged perfectly. And then I really wanted to send one abroad, so that's where I thought the Through the Looking Glass would be nice, and then one to stay here in North America. So that's down the rabbit hole. So I figured that'd be a good, everybody's included type scenario.
My wife absolutely loves Alice in Wonderland, so
Very cool.
lots of themed T-shirts around that. So,
Oh, there you go. Yep.
okay. So, can you describe? So, if I'm going through and looking at your sets, you the what we're showing here on the screen here is this set of the both of the boxes finished. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Let's see. So the box actually has a little gimmick to it. So if you're looking at it, them open right now, and you'll see one that is the looking glass and one's the rabbit hole. Both of them have a little center punched, a little hole there. So
Mm-hmm.
you would gently stick your finger in it and lift that. So you're going down the rabbit hole or through the looking glass, depending. And then that will reveal to you the four challenge locks underneath that.
Okay.
So each one of those are set up where the key is sunk into the foam right in front of it. So you don't necessarily see the bidding, but it's there. This is meant for kind of learning a little bit. So it's there if you want to, want to look at it. And then each one of these locks has a particular theme for you to learn, ending with the red queen being an actual real challenge lock, anything goes style.
Oh, cool. Okay, so tell us about the lock with the blue key.
Okay, so that one would be Alice's Serrated Sadness. And with these progressive locks, because of the diameter of the chambers, you can't use standard 3 millimeter pins. So you're kind of have to work within the security pins and the key pins from the rekey set from Sparrows in order to make this work. So that's why you'll see multicolored keys here. Those are from the rekey kit. And then they're all 6-pinned, though, because I had to find an extra pin to float on the end of the bow to make it work, but they're all 6-pinned.
Okay.
So for Alice, that's Serrated Sadness. So in that one, you're going to learn how to pick serrated pins. So every chamber has the Sparrow serrated basic security pins. However, I modified the core where you're going to have to fight the serrations of the the counter milling serrations. So it
Okay.
does make it a challenge lock, and it definitely has a little bit of challenge lock aspect to it. But hopefully, it's going to help you pick up where the night school left you. You know what I mean? So if you were able to see through the lock, or pick a old one, the old progressives, fine, no problem. Now with the serrations and the securities, it's the next level of lock picking for sure.
Okay, and the black one?
Okay, so the next logical step for me would be spool pins. So that one entered the Mad Hatter. That one has, I believe it's 5 out of the 6 are spooled. The last one I just threw a serration in there to help stabilize the chambers, and then every single one of those has the proper counter milling in the core. With these particular locks, you're not able to do any Bible mods, but so all the mods I do talk about here would be core mods. But that one has all proper counter milling, so that you are now learning how to, or the feel of, and how to defeat spools with, proper counter milling for each.
Okay. And the green?
The green one I like particularly because of the mushrooms. So it's called Eat Me. And that particularly plays into the Alice in Wonderland theme. So for the mushrooms, to make this a little more challenging, I flipped the mushroom every other chamber facing up or facing down, and then I alternated between counter milling and serrations. So, if the small lip's facing down, you're gonna have to fight the serrations or the counter milling, depending what chamber it's in. And then the other way, vice versa, you have to fight the taper and then the counter milling. So that it's an interesting feedback for learning mushrooms. And again, they're grub screwed, so you could take it apart, learn it progressively, or if you're just learning mushrooms as a beginner, you could just line them up normally and then, flip them around as you see fit.
Very cool. Okay. And the biatch of the bunch, the Red Queen.
Okay, the Red Queen was particularly proud of because that was the first one I kind of made, and that was the one I really wanted to utilize as much of the Sparrow's gear I had, and particularly, like I said, Venus was kind of inspired by Lock Noob. I thought it was very fitting to throw those pins in there, and with these locks, you can't. The traps. You can't go super hard with traps because it will brick the lock. And I mean, I'm trying to help these as somebody who's learning challenge locks. So I'm trying to soften the edges a little bit. So it's definitely 100% a challenge lock. Every single chamber has some type of mod or some type of whatever. But I had to play around where I serrated a couple and it seized them, so I had to change it to counter milling or flip a pin around. But every pin in there is some type of check, and it's a fight. It is 6 pins, and it will fight you.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so who did you have in mind for this? I mean, what level of picker would you say is going to enjoy this the most?
Okay, I think utilizing the chopped and screwed here, I think anywhere from yellow belt to, I mean, if you just wanted to go for the Red Queen and, send it on your way, I mean, I think honestly, probably purple, just because of the level of the check things and then all the counter milling to go with it. So, I mean, maybe green, purple, but definitely, I mean, for yellow, you're learning all the initial serrations and
Yeah.
spools and what counter milling feels like. I mean, anybody could put the initial part into any lock and just feel it, but to actually have the milling to go against it, it's like I said, each one in itself is a baby challenge lock, but like I said, with the Red Queen, that was I had to stay again within the parameters of these progressives. So the guy said they're a little smaller diameter, so you can't use normal pins, and some of the other traps or pin or chamber mods you kind of can't. I couldn't, no trench traps, nothing over the top that I'd throw into a normal sledge. But for what they are and for the learning curve, I mean that they are hard even at my level, and I'm a standing blue belt. They're challenging to me. I mean,
Okay.
so that says something right there. So I think anybody that has these, I think would have fun. And like I said, 2 boxes with the intent, one to stay here in North America, and I didn't want to leave out our European or Australian friends or anybody anywhere, man. I want to make sure everybody was included with this and had a chance to learn.
So do you already have somebody in mind to get them first go?
No, no.
So how?
Here's my idea. First grabs is going to be this. Here's you've heard it here first. You're going to see it announced on my video this week. Whoever leaves a comment here, you get 1 entry. Whoever leaves a comment on mine, that's a 2nd entry. So you're gonna have up to 2 entries into who goes first on that's you're in. So simply comment underneath this video or later on mine. And as long as you do one of the two, you at least have one. You comment on both, you have two entries.
All right. Well, um, thank you for reviewing your set. Hopefully, generates some really good interest. We get a lot of entries in there, so you can see it off and maybe come up with the list of future people to send it off to as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So with that, we'll wrap this one up. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. Thanks for watching.